Hi everyone, Jo and Zoe here today. We want to talk to you about reflection. So I know many of you who see our videos like to journal, and this is something that can be a great activity just to help you to process emotions, help you to plan out your refreshing new activities. And so we're going to share with you some journaling questions and some reflective questions that you might find helpful. So to kick us off, the first one that I like to think of is, what am I proud of this year? And I think that's particularly useful right now when, the time we're recording this, we're still in the midst of a global pandemic towards the end of the year. So what am I proud of helps to pick out the positivity that the year has always had something of.
Yeah, it's interesting because I had a client this week and he was talking about how he was looking at what he had achieved over the year, but he was struggling to identify what he was proud of. So,
Yeah.
although he recognized achievements, and actually, if you break down any achievement, there are things that you can find that you would be proud of, whether it is that you persevered, whether it is that you made new relationships, or whatever it is. So, you can find it if you reflect hard enough.
Yeah, and that actually reminds me of another question, a reflection question. Where have I been courageous? Because I find with achievement, often for those of you who value achievement, and that's really important, I find that often the achievement needs to have been a courageous achievement in order to feel that sense of pride about it. So if you can't identify what you've achieved, to think about, where have I shown courage, like where have I stepped up out of my comfort zone and been courageous. That's a nice question to reflect on.
Yeah, and another one that's prompting in me is when we think about courageous leadership, we are also thinking about compassionate leadership, in the times that we're in. So maybe a useful reflection question is, how have I been compassionate to myself?
Lovely question.
And how have I been compassionate to others, or with others?
Yeah, I like that. And what about thinking also around how you've changed? Often, if you're looking over a set period of time, right? Like, you will have grown over the course of the year. Certainly this year, the experiences that it's brought. How have you grown? What has the year taught you? Yeah. What have you learned?
Yeah. What have I prioritized? I think that's a good check-in. So you could you could phrase that in terms of values questions. So it might be around, how have I honored my values, or what have I prioritized? Because that can really jolt people when they reflect on that and think, oh, have I prioritized those things that are most important to me? What connections have I made? So if we think about reflecting on relationships, you might want to reflect around, have I been connecting with people, or have I lost some connection? Who are the people I'd like to reconnect with, or add some more warmth into those connections?
Yeah, and I like to think about, like, what do I need to embrace? As you do the reflection, you also start to think about moving forward. They're a natural pairing. Like, what do you actually need to invite more of, into your life, into your space, in order to be able to, get that sense of fulfillment.
And what can I let go of?
Yeah.
Or what do I need to let go of? So that's the giving and the taking, that kind of flow, so that we don't stay static.
And related to that, so what can I let go of is, what do I need to leave? There's let go, but also just leave it behind. Just leave it where it belongs, which is often in the past or on the particular memory itself. You don't have to you don't have to kind of carry it forward. It's just another way to think about it.
What has inspired me?
Yeah.
And that, thinking of different types of energy when we're connecting into that. What's inspired me? What's energized me? What's thrilled me?
Yeah, all good ones. So maybe something around like strength and resilience, like how have I been strong this year, or what am I proud of with respect to my resilience, particularly if it's been a particularly testing year, reflecting back on that specifically.
How have I leveraged my strengths?
Yeah.
Have I digged into them? What new strengths have I discovered?
Yeah.
That I wasn't aware of.
Yeah, and related to that, it's a bit of a popular term at the moment, but how have I leveled up? Like, if yes, you can reflect on your growth, which is one thing, but for those of you who really value achievement and driving forward, like actually to look back over the year and think, how did I level up this year? Was it, was I courageous enough? Was I bold enough? Did I climb as much as I wanted to? So that can be useful.
Yeah, and then maybe just a final question, because we're given.
We have, a lot of journaling going on.
Maybe, how have I celebrated my achievements? And that's also a prompt to just check: have I taken time to celebrate those things that I have achieved, those things that I'm proud of?
Yeah.
And if not, if you're somebody thinking, "Gosh, no, I don't celebrate things," and lots of people don't, just think about, what is your way to celebrate, and how do you make time to prioritize that? And because celebration often marks a threshold between one thing and another thing, and obviously that relates to Gestalt, which we've done a video on before. But hopefully you've got there are some questions in there that resonated with you, or maybe some questions you haven't thought of before, or maybe haven't thought of for a while, that can be a useful prompt for you. Or you can incorporate those questions into your coaching practice, or as a manager doing reviews, maybe there are some questions in there that feel like they could be questions you could naturally ask in a conversation to take it to another level.
Yeah, and if you're looking for ideas and inspiration as you wrap up the year, come and join our coaching crowd group. We often will be, sharing videos like this, and also doing challenges, so coaching challenges, helping you to reflect and reset. So come and join us there.